Hey guys, we're going live on YouTube. Let's do it.
I'm Dr. Ryan, and this is the Mental Dental Institute.
Hey guys, head on over to my YouTube channel. We got the live going right now on Mental Dental YouTube channel.
That's a wrap on the first ever Mental Dental Institute, but it won't be the last. For future courses, stay tuned. I'm Dr. Ryan.
Hey everybody, Dr. Ryan here, and that next course is coming up in November. Thanks so much for joining us on YouTube. It's fun to be live again. It's been a while since I've gotten to do this, so welcome in. Please, you can mention in the comments, guys, if you want to interact with us. We'll be here answering all of your questions. I also have Instagram Live as well. So if you're watching me there, feel free to leave a comment there as well. I'll try to be monitoring both sources as we can as we go along here. But yeah, feel free to tell us where you're listening from, where you're watching from. And this video will be primarily targeting bench exam prep, which is exciting for me because I haven't had much of an opportunity to dive into that space until recently. It's of course something that I'm really passionate about, is getting people prepared and ready for dental school, getting them through dental school, and in the case of internationally trained dentists, getting them into their dream program here in the US. And the bench exam is a huge, huge part of that. So that's what we're here for. Of course, you guys know me as helping prepare people for the INBDE and the ADAT and board exams, also helping doctors be the best, most confident version of themselves. And now we're talking about bench exam prep. But I'm not alone. I'm here with my friends, Dr. Awab and Dr. Taseer, the Sullean brothers. They are incredible. And I'm going to bring them in to join us here so we can introduce them as well. Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Hey,
What's up? How's it going?
It's going well. So glad to have you all here. If you want to start us off, Dr. Awab, could you introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Well, thank you so much. It's great to be here and to have everyone joining us today. My name is Dr. Awab Abdelmajid Sulleman. I'm an associate professor at the Virginia Commonwealth University. I am myself a foreign trained dentist and spent the past decade actually working and living in the United States. So it's been a great opportunity. It's been a great journey, and hopefully we can use some of that help with so many people who are willing to come here. So thank you all for joining us today, and looking forward to your questions and the conversations that we're going to have.
Awesome. And Dr. Taseer, how about you, man?
Yes, Dr. Taseer Sulleman. I'm an associate professor at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Go Heels.
Yeah.
I've been teaching in academia for, can't believe, about over 20 years now. And, one of the primary focus of my teaching has been in operative dentistry and also in restorative dentistry and fixed crown and bridge. And, so it's a passion to be able to educate others and teach others on restorative dentistry that impacts the daily lives of themselves as clinicians and also as for their patients. So we're really excited to be joining you and everyone else. And we're very, very stoked to be here.
Awesome. Awesome. We're already getting some great questions in the comment section. So please, guys, interact with us and ask us any questions that you have about bench test prep, the interview day, what all of that is about. I see Ahmed Dawood is asking, what is the bench exam? Do one of you guys want to start there? What is a bench exam?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Awab. You're the director.
Okay. So the bench test is basically a way for the dental school to evaluate their candidates. So it's a process. It's not a one thing. It's a process where from the first time you step a foot in the dental school, you're actually being more or less interviewed and watched, where some school they would ask you to do a certain tooth preparation, maybe different type of restorations. Some of them, they would actually share with you cases, and they would ask you to diagnose and maybe treatment plan as well. So it's a range of things that schools might ask you to evaluate your level of comfortableness with dentistry, maybe entry-level dentistry, and see if you're a good fit for their program. And again, it can range from a simple test question to a case study into an actually bench work where you would have to sit down and drill on teeth and restore them according to what they feel like it's best for their school.
Mm-hmm.
At
Excellent.
UNC, it's very similar. We have over 1,000 applications to filter through. 50 are only invited to the bench exam. So how do you distinguish yourself amongst the 50 and get into the top 8? Very, very competitive, very challenging. And so the stakes are very high, and it's very difficult to compete. And that's what we're here for, basically sharing with you our experience on how to master this and how to nail it down and get a better opportunity to really ace the bench exam.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is why we're here, to help you guys. And we acknowledge that there's a lot of stress and uncertainty about things like the bench exam and the interview day. And that's why we're here. We want to address and give you guys opportunities to ask questions and also to provide help where we can. And one of the most important things we want to highlight for you guys is that it's not too early to start preparing. So if you're a foreign trained dentist who is planning on applying even next cycle in 2026, now is a really, really good time to start thinking about these things, getting your application ready, starting to prepare for the bench exam. So there's less question marks as you get closer and closer to the actual invitations. How early do you guys think people should start preparing for their bench test? And you guys can also answer in the comments too. How long do you think you should be getting ready for this exam before you take it? What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Awab.
Yeah, so I believe you have to practice from now, but meaning that never to procrastinate and say, I'm going to do it later when it comes. Don't say, I'm going to wait until I get an invitation for a bench test to start preparing for it, because believe it or not, most of us who was practicing dentist somewhere else, and then we come back, we move to the United States, we might be on a period that we've had some disconnect from doing dentistry, and we will need time to go ahead and prepare some teeth. We need some time to go ahead and get a feel for plastic teeth, because it's definitely different than cutting enamel or dentin. So I would say this as soon as possible. That's when I, should sit down and, buy a typodont, different type of teeth, and I would sit down and try to get as many preparations as I can get done. Could be a class 2, a class 3. It could be crown preparation, maybe bridge preparation, because it's all helping you to develop all these muscle memory for plastic teeth, and to do it very well, and also do it in a reasonable time. Because when you go to a bench test, you would be required to do multiple things in a short period of time. So you have to get comfortable doing it well and doing it relatively efficiently, and be able to meet some of the criteria that the schools are looking for. So the answer to that is, as soon as I can, whenever I have an opportunity, I should jump on it.
I think one of the things that we've realized with educating a lot of for the bench prep exam specifically is that some of them went into the bench prep exam unprepared, lacking practice. They haven't polished their skills very well. And again, with teaching hundreds of students, not just international, but even DDS students, I can tell right from the beginning where, if as an evaluator, that someone has practiced and polished their skills versus somebody who has practiced only for that specific exam. It's very obvious and evident. And what we're looking for in these bench prep examinations that's different from DDS students is how well you manage your time, how well you deal with stress, your posture, your, how are you, responding to direction, and so all of these things are taken into account. And believe me, if you lack practice, we will see the struggle, we will see the stress. And there are many that have aced an oral exam or a written exam, but when it came to the actual bench prep exam, this is where you can see that they fall extremely short. And so it really takes a while. And Awab mentioned muscle memory. And, if I start in a preparation a year ahead versus 1 or 2 months ahead, you can tell the difference. You might get accepted into a program, but if you wanted a specific program in a specific place that's very competitive, you have to bring on your A game. And muscle memory is very important. When you practice for a year, you might think, I'm going to take an entire year or 6 months just to practice an MOD or a crown preparation. Are you kidding? I can do that in 1 week. It's not a matter of the time. It's a matter of how well you can do it in multiple times. So, for example, if you start 6 months earlier and every month you came and revisited the preparation design and the restorative procedure, it really helps build that level of confidence in you. So we can't stress out how important it is to leave ample time for. That's why we're doing these courses on, in short notices and in compact time periods, is because we want to fulfill the demand of different evaluations and preparation and bench exams that are throughout the year. So yes, leave a very good significant amount of time for you to practice. And even if life is busy and you have gaps between your practices, when you practice well, even if you left for a month or even 2 that you didn't practice, you can come back and do it again very, very well.
Excellent. Great advice. Guys, let's jump into some questions. Y'all are leaving some great questions in the comments, so we'll pull some of these up. First, we have Curatal says, hi, as an examiner, how do you evaluate or grade a successful cavity or crown preparation in a bench exam?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. One of the cool things about dentistry is that in certain things, it's not black and white. Some of it is gray. And to evaluate a cavity preparation or a crown preparation, we might not have to look at it in millimeters and tenths of millimeters. What the majority of these bench tests looking for is to see whether you have the skill. Do you have the general idea of knowing how to do a proper class 2 preparation, for example, or crown preparation? And for that, you don't have to tone it down to the specifics exactly. However, you have to be able and comfortable enough to look at a tooth and say, that looks like a decent crown preparation. This looks like someone who really knows. Now, in order for you to get there, you have to practice with certain criteria. You cannot just get there anecdotally. You have to have a proper feedback. You have to have proper step-by-step teaching method or feedback in order for you to go ahead and do it repetitively so you can get to that result. I'm not sure. Maybe my answer is a little bit general in here, but we do have to have certain criteria. When you look at it, you say, I can place a crown on this individual seems to have what it takes to control the handpiece in a good way, and they know what they're doing.
And in our course, we do have a criteria for evaluation, which the participants will get. And that's something that in our bench exams, we do go by. And so it's more, I wouldn't say universal, but 90% or 95% even, I can be confident about 95% of other schools are basically following that same criteria and evaluating a class 2 cavity preparation or restoration or even a crown preparation and temporization. So there's a specific criteria to follow. And we just want you to understand what the criteria points are. Each criterion is explained carefully. And this is what we focus on so you can master each criterion so that you know exactly what you're going to be aiming for when you're graded.
Yeah, and just to add on that, once you practice in a methodical way, you will always be able to do the work in a methodical way and evaluate it. In other meanings, let's say you practice doing a crown preparation with a 1 millimeter short shoulder, for example, and then you got a bench test to a dental school that they sent you their requirement the night before or maybe a week before, and they said, hey, I want 1.5 millimeter shoulder. So you have the skill, you've already have developed it. You just need to know to say, okay, I can go ahead and tweak my preparation just a little bit. And I already know the tools and the way to do it is just as a different measurement. And that's what we mean by you have to have the skill for it. And these other criteria, they come secondary to it.
Yep.
And the objective method we followed during our last course, where we scanned when we have a scan of an ideal preparation, and the scan of your preparation, and we overimpose them together, and we can show you objectively where the deficiencies are so that you can master it. And I think that was an extremely helpful tool because it calibrated the educators, right? And so then the feedback they were getting is really more objective and very directed versus, when we teach in a dental school, right? Each faculty can have a different opinion, and some might focus on specific things, others. But here, no. Here, we're very targeted and focused on how do you master these specific procedures with the less I would say with the actual maximum calibration between the course faculty and also and also using the scanning methods.
Right. Absolutely. And we'll certainly, you guys are hearing us talk about a course. If you don't know, we do teach what's called the Mental Dental Institute, a bench prep course. We'll talk much more about that later tonight and share some details about how you can sign up and be a part of that. But for now, let's answer some other questions here. We have some that we probably answered indirectly. Rami Ramsey's with the question, evaluation criteria differs from one school to another. So it's safe to say that there are certain thresholds that you have to meet for every program, but every school might be a little bit different in terms of what they ask for and what they're looking for. We have another one here from Muhammad Yusuf says, what are the grading criteria, pass, fail, or scoring? What do you guys think for that?
It depends on the school. No matter if it's pass or fail or it's actually graded on step by step, all of these have the exact same general principles that you have to know and practice on, and then just tweak them according to the school that they're applying to. So, yeah.
I mean, our goal really is to build that foundation. So it doesn't really matter where you're going to do the bench exam. That's the main focus. And so the criteria that we have built for evaluation is, I would say it is a universal one. But again, there might be some differences. For example, one would ask an MO on tooth number 5. The other one asks an MOD on number 20, for example. So it is different from school to school. But we build the foundation for you and help you to understand that so you can maximize or you can master the preparation, design, restoration, or crown preparation, regardless of the school that you're applying to.
Right.
And then, of course, it's always very, very good. Whenever you do get an interview in a specific school, you have to understand the culture of that school, the culture of the bench exam, what commonly is asked, requested to prepare, so that you go in there prepared. But again, having that solid foundation, all you have to do the week before your interview is polish those skills that you've already built in with us.
Exactly. Hey, you guys will love this comment from Anna. She said, my friend Gabriella did your bench course and she loved it. She was so well prepared and she got accepted. You guys are great.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing knowledge.
Congrats. Yeah.
Gabby, she was amazing.
Great.
She's
close to the front, right?
Yeah.
Second row back, I think.
Yes.
She was awesome. Yeah. So that,
we spent 2 days with them in the course, and it feels like we've known them forever. That's very special. It was very, very special. I still remember our closing remarks and take home messages, and I saw people starting to cry and tear up. I'm like, guys, what happened here? Crying. I know that was very special. I think it was the bond that we try to build with them, and the three of us really pour our hearts out, it wasn't just an 8-hour course. I mean, we stayed there much beyond that as well, and we just wanted to make sure that we gave it all, and I think it showed, and I think the participants truly appreciated that. So that was amazing, an amazing feeling.
Yeah. Go ahead, go for it.
No, yeah, it was a wonderful 2 days. I mean, it's amazing how little time you spend with people, but then the amount of love and appreciation you develop for one another is just amazing. So that was definitely lovely 2 days that we spent. I'm really happy for Gabriella because she's worked really hard for this. So Anna, if you talk with her, tell her we wish her all the best and congratulations.
Yes, please do. Please carry that message forward for us. And we, the three of us, we to be totally transparent with you guys, we didn't have necessarily plans to do the course again until maybe next year, if even that. But we were like, this is too much fun.
Absolutely.
The course totally sold out beyond the seats that we originally had, so we knew we had to bring it back sooner.
I think we had to squeeze like 5 in right at the very end.
Yeah, we did
I
at the
mean,
last moment.
they were really wanting, and that's why, it's like, guys, why did you leave it to the last minute? So we had to. It was stressful for all of us because first of all, we didn't want to deny any request, right?
Right.
And then we had to go find additional bench seats for them, and then additional equipment and instruments also to bring in. It was pretty intense that week, trying to make sure that but we got it done. So that's why, we really wanted to exclude any kind of stressful scenario, if you will, by just having a limited number of seating and then just saying, listen, guys, we're sorry, but we're maxed out. We just simply can't add any more. And so, I do a lot of CE courses, and, this one, when 2 months, I think we sold out, and it's just quite remarkable. And it truly was a very, very unique experience.
Definitely. Well, let's get to some. Dr. Awab, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, no, I was going to address James' question before we. Not sure if you can see it.
Yeah, there's a couple from him. I was actually going to pull his next one up. Are you looking at bench tests usually comprised of which specific or different?
I was looking at which portion would give you a higher standing.
Sure.
Yeah,
that's a good one too.
So that's a great question. But what I wanted to think about, James, here is that you're not being evaluated for one thing only. You are somehow evaluated like an actual practicing dentist. And if you go to a dentist, you're not going to say this person has great clinical efficiency, but they're terrible in ergonomics. They don't have proper hygiene control. That's not how you look at it. You have to look at it everything in a holistic way, with some emphasis on clinical efficiency. So to answer your question, you want to do a little bit of all of them. They're all are important, with a little bit of extra emphasis on doing proper clinical quality work. And the way to do that is by practicing and getting feedback on your practice and making sure that you're taking the right steps.
One of the things that we were doing during the course is, again, we understand as a participant, as a student, as an examinee, if you will, you are thinking about, tens of things in your mind going out at the same time. And so you might not focus on your posture. You might not focus on, you're only focusing locked in on that just specific procedure that you're doing, whether it's cutting into the tooth or restoring the tooth. And so, again, it is our role to come in and to, tap on your shoulder and tell you, straighten up your back or your neck, have a nice posture, look at your instruments, please. You need to organize them, make sure that they are organized. So we point out deficiencies during the bench prep examination or the bench prep preparation so that you avoid these deficiencies during your exam. So there are many times people would say, well, I just sat and prepped cavity after cavity after cavity. I'm like, okay, but there are other things that you completely ignored. And because they weren't told or they didn't know. And so that's what we were focusing on as well, is telling them all the details that, again, like Awab was mentioning, things that capture our eyes as an evaluator or examiner on that day. Just, how well how relaxed you are, and your posture, the organization. I can't tell you how important organization. And we've seen beautiful work, and I come and I see an instrument on the ground, the handpieces on the desk or on the table. Instruments are like 4 of them on top of each other, and so that's taken as a note. And when we sit down, when you have 50, for example, and I know WUP has probably same or even more candidates. When you go to 50, this is what I say all the time: 25 of them are probably acing that exam. 25 out of the 50. So it's not like you're going to be, you think you're special all the time. No, the reality is 25 of them are going to ace it. How do you get to that top 8 in their school or top 10 in a WUB school, right? And this is where the notes come in and the details, because, again, the top 25 all did a beautiful cavity preparation. They did a beautiful crown. They restored the tooth beautifully. but it's those details. So this is a very important point that James brought up. If you don't pay attention to these details, it can hurt you at the end, despite some might think that they did a wonderful job. And I'm saying they aced everything that we asked them to do as a procedure, but then the surroundings were not done very well.
Yes, that's a great point. Something that you probably wouldn't think about until you hear it from this side of the table, from the evaluator point of view, because those are things that you guys are looking at.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great. This is such a rich topic. It's exciting to talk about because it's not only the physical prepping of teeth and restoring of teeth, but there's also different components. There's the interview, which we certainly could dive a lot more into these topics, and we do in the Institute. But for tonight, we'll just hit things as much as we can at a surface level. Paul asked a good question here. Can you go over how to explain a treatment plan from A to Z in a bench interview? And you bring up a good point here, Paula, because there are so many different components to these interview days. Some schools have an oral exam, a written exam. People are asking you questions during your bench prep. You have a separate interview, group interview, multiple mini interview format. There's so many different things that different schools do, and we're here to help prepare you for whatever schools you're applying for. But this is something that I talk about. One of the presentations that I give during the Mental Dental Institute is about answering these types of clinical questions that can come up, whether they're specific dental material questions, ethical dilemmas, diagnosis and treatment planning for a specific case, or a bigger patient case where you have to go through all of the 5 phases of treatment planning, which are systemic, urgent, disease control, definitive, and maintenance. And those are things that we discuss in detail at the course, but that's just a surface level look for you.
Yeah.
Very, very important. Yeah, good. Any thoughts that you guys have? Oh, look at this. Here's an exciting one. Brenda has already signed up for our course. Hello, doctors. Are there any resources or exercises you'd recommend we start with ahead of time to prepare for your bench course? Thank you. And we look forward to having you there, Brenda. We'll have to see any points for her.
First of all, we were excited to see Brenda actually at the course. So welcome to the course. I would highly encourage that she would start, maybe drill some of the teeth on the typodont that she have, just to get a feel for plastic teeth and just to see some of her common mistakes. Maybe bring those teeth with her so we can take a look at them and really pinpoint where the things that she can hopefully improve with. If she has access to some sort of, of any of the books of Art and Science or even Summit, where we can look at some of these class 2 preparations, some of even of Schillenberg for like the crown preparation, just to familiarize herself with the different types of margins, different type of materials, that will really make her 2 days a lot smoother. Of course, we will give lectures. We will go over everything we need to go over with, on the day of. But for her to go ahead and read that will give her a jump start.
Absolutely. I think it's very important that, and welcome, Brenda. We'll look forward to meeting you in person. But if you have signed up already and you have some time and you wanted to come prepared, actually, it's a very good point that Awab brought up, that you do practice on, we're asking you to bring any typodont you feel comfortable with. Unfortunately, there is no universal typodont for these bench preps. Each school uses something different. So again, where you're applying matters, what they use. You might want to go and get that specific typodont to practice on, or the specific teeth to practice on. But when you do make those practices and you bring them with you, we give you the evaluation. This is a time for you to actually, in the bench prep, because you've come prepared and you've practiced, to do kind of like a mock bench prep exam. And so we've told some of the participants, like, you're at a level where you're very good. We're going to give you 2 hours and we're going to come back and we're going to check on these certain steps. So now we're including the element of time, which is of the essence, right, during a bench prep. And we can train you on that. So some come lack preparation, which is fine. That's what the course is there for. Lack preparation, so we guide them on a one-to-one kind of hands-on individual teaching session, right? This is how you would prepare. This is how you access. You need to be careful of that. And that takes a lot of time. Others can come prepared. They've done multiple preparations. All we have to do is give them feedback, and then we can immediately test them right there on the site and make sure that again, they can do that good quality of work, but in the requested time. So that kind of mock bench prep exam was useful to some that are more prepared than others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Great. Very good. Ratty, you asked, what is the best way to prepare for the bench exam? Is there any specific material to study and prepare from? And hopefully you're getting that answer here tonight, that
Yes.
the course we're talking about would be an excellent way for you to prepare for the bench exam. I also received some comments on Instagram here. I'm also on live on Instagram over to my left. And someone was asking about the different interviewing tips, if we have any particular interviewing tips. And I also give a presentation at the Institute on this topic because it's very, very important. It's a huge, obviously, component to your interview day. And one of the things that I would just tell you here is to be prepared at the right level. So meaning not over prepared and not under prepared. Some people come to the interview being under prepared, where they're at a program and they're asked, why do you want to attend this program? And they give a very basic, generic answer that tells me they did not do any homework or research about this school. They don't know the core values. They don't know the opportunities that are there at this school. They know nothing about research or the facility or the faculty there. And that reflects very poorly on you as a candidate. At the same time, some people over prepare and they have very exact and over rehearsed answers that sound like they're coming from ChatGPT, which also does not sound good. They want to see your genuine human side, see if there's some personality there, there's some passion, and that you're going to represent the school well, both inside and outside of the walls of that school. And that's important for them to see as well. If they wanted ChatGPT, that would be very easy to attain. That's not the purpose of the interview either. So being somewhere in the middle there is really important for you.
Yeah, one more thing I would like to add is when you go for an interview, make sure you go maybe the night before it and get yourself some time in that city. First of all, you want to get rested. You want to go to the interview, have, with enough amount of sleep that you've had, so you're fully focused. I mean, we've had people who would come in like half an hour or 45 minutes late just simply because they didn't figure out where to park their car if they rented a car, or that they couldn't figure out where to get an Uber or a taxi. So these are simple, mundane things, as simple as they sound. They actually play a huge factor, in my opinion. We've had people on the other end who would come the night before to just say, you know what, I want to check out the school. I want to see where to be tomorrow, which is a very, very good thing to do. But be careful, be very prepared. Take a good night's sleep. Wake up in the morning, drink coffee if you do, and put a smile on. Think of your dental interview as if you're going on a date and you want to impress while being yourself, and that will take you to the right place.
Yes, great advice.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, we do have some tips here that we want to share with you guys. Of course, we've been answering questions and sharing some great advice already, but this video is titled 5 Tips to Help You Pass Your Bench Exam. So I suppose we're 30 minutes in. We better get to them at some point. Tip number 1 here is avoid this mistake in your preps. What would you guys say is the number 1 mistake that people make in preparing either cavities or crowns?
I would say catastrophic damage to the adjacent tooth, which really speaks that maybe you don't have a control over your handpiece and burr, which could not be true. It could be that you're nervous. So again, that takes us back to the point when we were talking about you really have to practice under pressure, time yourself. And then you also have to learn all the tips and tricks, how to avoid nicking the adjacent or even damage it. I know in the course, we do go over a lot of these tips and tricks on how to avoid damaging the adjacent, but that's very, very important because it goes with the first principle in medicine in general, which is to do no harm. And you want to make sure that you, as someone who's applying to tell people that I'm at a level where hopefully I will not do any harm if I got accepted into the dental school. So I would say that's the number 1 thing for me.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
I would say avoid disregarding time. Okay, because time is very important. So one of the mistakes that some fall into is they're very focused on specific preparation guidelines, and then they get caught up into it, and then all of a sudden they're run out of time, and they haven't yet restored, or they haven't then finished or polished. So avoid the mistake of disregarding time. You have to manage time brilliantly, and that's part of the preparation.
I'll tell you all a true story. When I first moved to the United States, I had to do a 6-hour long bench test where I was by myself, and the program director sat right across from me on the bench, and he had his laptop and he was taking notes on everything that I did. And we were supposed to do multiple restorations. We were supposed to do a couple of crown preparations and provisional and a final impression. I had this class 2 composite that I couldn't get the contacts, and I kept going back and forth. When you start sweating, that's your body telling you maybe it's time to take a break from this thing and do something else. So I stopped. I went ahead and did a crown preparation, took the impression, did the provisional, and came back to my restoration. Later, I came to know that my program director actually liked that, and he wrote it in the report that Awab seemed to know that he had a shortcoming in a certain thing, and he learned that he was in a time crunch, so he managed his time well, and he left it and went to something else, which speaks of your personality. I'm not saying I'm great at this, but I'm saying that you really have to keep track of time, and if something is not working in your hand, don't let it hold you back from continuing the other steps. Because remember, you have to finish them all. Maybe you're not perfect at one of them, but at least you want to get the rest at a decent level. So don't get caught up on one thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great advice. Good. Well, let's do the second tip here is stay calm and collected during your exam. And we've been talking about that.
Yeah, I think we've been talking about it. It's very important. This really has to do with your character and how well you can manage stress. So yeah, staying calm is very, very important, focused and organized. I think that's very, very important.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Dr. Awab, anything to add there? Agree?
I think we covered it in a nice way. So
I think so too. I'm with you. Tip number 3, prepare for a wide spectrum of preps. Wide spectrum of preps.
You don't know what school is bench prep exam they're going to ask you to prep, right? So there are maybe common requests from some of the schools. We try to cover them, but we've had some that came and they've prepped, for example, tooth number 3 or number 14, and then we say, okay, if you've done that tooth, you can go ahead and do number 30, for example. So they would have the opportunity to prepare multiple teeth beyond what's requested from them in the bench prep course. Mm-hmm. And we were happy to support them and cover that, despite that it was not in the curriculum. But we understand that each school might be different. And if they're applying to a specific program where they know that they're requesting this very specific preparation and we're not covering it, then we can help them with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and again, a class 2 is a class 2, but you want to get comfortable with your indirect vision, with how to place your matrix, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And one thing I wanted to add here is, given that, and this was also including me when I was trained outside, we did not use the universal numbering system. So for you as a foreign trained dentist, you really should familiarize yourself with it, because one time we asked a student to prepare tooth number 26, and they read it as tooth number 26, and they ended up prepping the entire wrong tooth. So you want to be very careful of that. Actually, my foreign trained student, they always make fun of me, but I test them in the summer boot camp, which is a 6 weeks long activity every day. I would quiz each and every one of them on numbering system. So be very careful with that. You don't want to prep the wrong tooth.
Definitely. How about this one? Good enough versus bench exam level.
I think that's what we covered as well. Like I said, I think most programs will bring in 30 to 50, sometimes 70 candidates. That's a lot. How do you distinguish yourself to be now some programs take in 20, take in 30, so the opportunity might be better. But like I said, some are very specific in where they want to apply, based on geography, based on relatives, based on family, etc. And so this is where we come in, is that, how do we help get you into that very specific program? We've had some that unfortunately can't apply besides this specific school, because they have a spouse, they have a kid, the spouse working, or a kid that goes to a specific school, and they just can't move. So how do you become? I mean, I told you the statistics. It's very difficult. And at UNC you have 50 candidates, and they only take in 8, and they've already filtered 1,000 applicants. So you can imagine how difficult it is. So good enough is not going to get you in. Okay. And I think based off of our collective experience, this is what we're sharing in the course, is how to get you to that top 5%. We don't want you mediocre. We want you to be the best. Now, we can only help get you to a certain level, and it's up to you to launch after that, right? So that's what we're trying to do, is really help build that foundation for you. But it really relies on each individual, how to master that and to get to the top 5%. And that's what you need to do. So good enough will not work in most of the programs.
Exactly. And one of the things that we heard from last course is, I wish it was longer time. Well, we specifically made it 2 days to help with travel and taking time off from work and things of that nature. But also, we packed so much material into those 2 days that people really walked away confident. And also, like to your point, Tasir, with the skills and the tools to further propel themselves. And we don't disappear after the course is over. We send you a certificate, we send you a letter of recommendation, and we're here for you via email. We give you our personal contact info. So all 3 of us were in contact with many of the attendees of our June course, and many of them got accepted, which is extremely exciting to us, because we built friendships and these relationships within just 2 days of knowing everybody. That it was very exciting to see the development in the course and then afterwards as well.
Absolutely.
Great. Tip number 5 is simulate exam conditions early. We've been talking about this in terms of preparing, putting yourself under, time constraint. Like you're talking about making sure that you're within the bounds of the exam conditions. Any other points that you guys have for this tip?
No, I think we covered it all. Again, practice, and practice with good quality. Never procrastinate, and think about you being evaluated holistically. Not only we're not only going to see typodons, we're going to see the human who produced the work on those typodons. So
I mean, if the bench prep is in March, don't think, oh well, November 1st is too early. I can wait until, first of all, we don't even know if we're holding, I think we're adding courses as we move along. So we don't know if we're going to do a course before March. Other than this one, we're still talking about that, depending on our times. We're all very busy, and it's quite challenging to find time. But I think if you get invited to do a bench exam in the spring, and in November is just a couple of months earlier. So you really need that time. Like I said, 2-3 months is not enough for you. It might be the good enough, right? It might get you to the good enough, but it will not get you to that master level. This is what we want to get you. That's the whole intention of this course. And that's why, I'm not delivering this course as an individual. Neither you are, Ryan, neither Awab is. We decided to collectively put our efforts together, because each one of us brings in something very unique to the course, and then in a two-day compacted manner, again, you do reach that level of mastership, because not many courses can cover inputs from 2 different faculty that actually teach this and that actually grade and evaluate this. And one of them is an actual director, and that does really help. And then Ryan, you bring in the excellence of how to master the interview process. That I've been around for a long time, and listening into others, and so the interview process is usually overlooked and pushed aside and not focused on. And that's where you get caught in those programs that are very, very unique and very limited and difficult to get into. So again, that's really why we have collected our efforts, the 3 of us, is to give this 2-day course really focused. And we're not wasting time in what we deliver. It's to the point, and it's to help get you to that top 5% tier of candidates. And I think that's very important. That requires time for you to practice. You cannot do it in just 1 or 2 months. That's not enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent. Paul is asking, where is the course? It's located in Huntersville, just north of Charlotte, North Carolina, very, very close to the Charlotte Douglas Airport. So a nice, easy trip if you're flying in. If you're close by in a neighboring state, even better. But we had people from, all over, right? I mean, people are flying in from the West Coast,
East, West, yeah.
Midwest, yeah, all over. Great. Dhruvi, you're asking a great question. How do I sign up for this course? I'll actually type the link for you right now in the chat. And it's also on Instagram if you're watching me there. It's just mentaldental.com/services/p/institute. By the way, we've already had 2 seats filled during this live so far, so they're certainly filling up. So if you guys want to take advantage of what we're talking about, we'd love to have you join us. Doc Apro also says, hello, Ryan, are bench tests mandatory for all the U.S. universities, or are there some universities where there's only an interview? That's a great question. To my knowledge, roughly 30 of the over 40 advanced standing programs from the CAPID application process have mandatory bench tests. So the majority of them do, about 30 of 43 or so programs right now.
Exactly right, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And UNC and VCU are 2 of those.
Yes.
And both great programs. Good. Well, we got through our 5 tips there, avoiding those common mistakes in prep design, like damaging the adjacent teeth, staying calm and collected, preparing for a wide spectrum of preps, the good enough versus bench exam level preparation and restoration, and simulating exam conditions early, and practicing. And like I always say, practice, I always heard practice makes perfect, but practice makes permanent. So you have to practice well to get that result. Just practicing without any goals or objectives or guidelines could do actually more harm than good. So we give you those guidelines, those criteria, and walk with you, or hands-on. And one of the other beauties of having 3 of us, plus we didn't even mention, we have a ton of other mentors there with us who are walking around and helping you out as well. So we're all there to help you get ready, hands-on, in person. I think the best way to learn. Good. Well, maybe we should talk a little bit more about the course. You guys are asking about that. So I'll just share a little bit more information about the course. I'll throw us to the side here. Here's our June 2025 course. All of our amazing students who are in attendance.
I can't believe we had that. I mean, this was advertised for less than 2 months. But you can see, I mean, we did not do really, I mean, very minimal advertisement. It just got us to this level. And, I'm sure you're going to mention about this early bird registration. I think the early bird, so, I've done a lot of CE, like I said, a lot of CE courses. Early bird does not mean that we only want to fill these seats. It really means that we know we're going to fill the seats. It's going to be fast, but we want to be well prepared. Yeah. And the early bird just allows us to fill those seats ahead of the date so that we can communicate with other vendors and sponsors to make sure that we have everything well prepared, and not like last time where we had that 1 week where we were scrambling around and trying to get everything delivered and on time. That was an extreme headache. And because we are all, I guess, kind of type A individuals, we really want everything to be perfect. The whole purpose is we want more time to be very well prepared. That's why we're said, you know what, let's put this early bird so that we can fill up the seats and say that's it. We've maxed out, and let's get well prepared, and that way we come in very fresh for the participants and focused with them, of course.
Yeah, great. I'll give you a little behind the scenes as well for our Mental Dental Institute here. You guys, of course, know us. Feel free to scan those QR codes. If you're watching on YouTube, you can follow us on social media. We have our professional Instagrams there if you don't have those already. And just to share a little bit about our last course, this is, again, the one we did in June. And this was the very first one we'd ever done, guys. This was the very first time we did this in June. And it's only going to get better. We got some feedback that we're incorporating this next time. So it's only going to be better than the first time. And people were very, very pleased with how it went. And we were very pleased to see the high rave reviews that we got. Here's some of the testimonials that we received as well. Dr. Ryan, Dr. Awab, Dr. Sullean, and all the mentors were fantastic, very helpful, and they were guiding step by step all the procedures. Everything was perfect. I'd love to hear that. Someone else said, honestly, I loved everything about the event. I even had the chance to record videos of the instructors performing procedures, which was incredibly helpful. And the training was fun and exciting. I enjoyed learning from the best educators, and the presentations were exceptional. And we do try to make this fun and exciting. I think sometimes this can be, again, very stressful, anxious, the whole process of the interviewing. But we really are approachable, and we make this fun for you, and a very memorable 2 days. When we sign off tonight, I'll share a little behind the scenes, and you guys can see how we get a little silly and we have fun.
Yeah.
In addition to you learning a lot.
And speaking of fun, I think it was important for us, we wanted to make it feel like this is the beginning of a very long friendship, right? It's not a business interaction. It's not where you come, you pay for your course, you get your material, and then off you go. And so remember when we were debating whether we should have that dinner gathering at a restaurant versus keeping it really at the course center. And what we thought about is the restaurant might be in a room, sometimes can be a little bit loud. It can have that kind of artificial feel where, I'm just here to have my dinner. I might speak with the person right next to me or in front of me and then not really get a chance to interact. Boy, when we had that at the center, how wonderful was that? Everyone was, we played music, we controlled the room. We were sitting there chatting. People were asked to go to bed because they need to be up early in the morning so they can continue with us. And they stayed late, and we all stayed late, and we were sitting there chatting and talking about just life. And we've hearing, a lot of the struggles from some of the, participants, and we hear and see that almost on a daily basis. It's very, very tough, and we feel for them, and we try to help again navigate. So it's really not just focusing on your education; it's really focusing on that humane side of as well, and the personal relationship that we built. But that's part of the fun that we had. I think we had the most fun really when we were just sitting all together chatting in a group, and it was fun, that kind of artificial environment if we had went somewhere else. So that was a very good call.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I agree. Here's some other comments. Lecturers were very friendly and insightful. I feel that I learned nice tips about the interview process. Some of you guys were asking about that. And I feel more comfortable facing a potential interview and bench test after attending the course. I like that there is a personal connection between the lecturers and the students. The level of expertise and the quality of the dental materials also impressed me. You guys want to talk about that a little bit? I feel like we haven't really mentioned the quality of materials that we had there.
Yes, we partnered with Ivoclar, so we got to use their composite, which is really one of the best products in the market. We got to use the Garrison sectional matrix, which is really, again, the standard of care and the state of the art when it comes to create a nicely curved proximal surfaces for class 2s. Cut and Black, which is a company from Germany, they make really great products for putty silicon guides and for temporary materials as well. So if anything, it really makes all the difference to use the right material when you want to get a great clinical outcome. And I think at the Institute, actually know the material that we use is second to none. And that really can up your skill level a little bit higher when you use a really good material that works well in your hand.
Mm-hmm. I have to call it this comment. You guys are going to enjoy this one from Sarab, another member.
Oh, the man himself.
Man.
He says, "Thank you very much for your time. The course was great. We learned a lot, had a great time together, especially on the first day until 9 p.m. I forgot we went that late, guys. We
We
felt
did.
good
We
connection
did.
from the first day.
Yeah.
Looking sharp in that picture, man. It's good to hear from you."
Yeah.
So, what a great
That was
guy.
awesome.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, yeah. We had a great time. Awesome. The second comment here on this slide, my favorite part was the willingness from every professor to share all of their knowledge with us, the students. Honestly, I came to this course feeling overwhelmed, out of track, and lost. And in a few hours, the doctors shared a lot and helped me build a lot more confidence. And we love to hear that. That was really, if you heard behind the scenes, that was our main goal, was to provide this sense of confidence leaving the institute that you knew what you needed to do.
Yeah, and it is a lot, and honestly, it's sometimes we need to ask someone for help and say, okay, can you break it down to us so we can have a organic, natural thought process that can actually help us to continue pushing forward. Because again, it could be overwhelming. So I'm actually happy to read this comment. Very, very nice.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And
You
that
know,
is, yeah, that is definitely the mission behind this channel too, is that sometimes the level of instruction or reading a textbook or doing something that's so overwhelming to people, and sometimes you just need it broken down to the most simple basic area and build up from there. And that's what I've really built my channel on, and that's what you guys have done with me in the institute as well. So I'm glad to hear this feedback too. Just a few more, guys, and we'll be wrapping up in a few minutes here. This one says, "It was a memorable experience. Having the opportunity to share and learn from such excellent doctors makes me love this profession even more." That's great. We love to hear that too. And really have to give a shout out to the doctors, not only for their wonderful clinical skills and knowledge, but also for their warmth. They're such generous and kind people. I felt like I'd known them before. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's very kind.
That's a great comment too. And I love this one.
We're seeing these comments with you for the first time, so we're
I
enjoying
know.
them as much as Ryan is reading them. You know, I mean, Ryan hasn't shared this with us, so it's really putting a smile to our face.
There we go. Surprise. That was the intention.
Yes.
And this last one, I love that I had to include this one. A big thank you for supporting international dentists like me. Please keep up the amazing work. It's unbelievable that I had the chance to meet my virtual mentor and companion throughout this journey in person. I'm still so excited. When I got home and showed the photo to my 4-year-old daughter, she looked at it and said, "Hey, everyone," which is my my classic sign-on for every YouTube video. That meant so much to me because I studied while caring for her. She's also familiar with Dr. Ryan. It was a very special and emotional moment for both of us. My husband is also very excited and happy. This whole experience has been meaningful for our entire family. And that really warmed my heart to read that message. And to what we were talking about before, it was, a little bit emotional. I mean, that was the first time I can remember crying in front of a group of people. I've never cried on a YouTube video. So maybe for that alone, to see Dr. Ryan break down in tears come to the Institute. But it was really special because this is something, again, I've been teaching people virtually for so many years, and then to actually meet these amazing humans in person was really, really special for all three of us. So,
yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, it's about an hour. We had so much fun doing this. I enjoy spending time with you guys and everyone watching on Instagram and also on YouTube. We appreciate your questions. If you have any other questions, you can always reach me. Again, leave a comment on this video or on Instagram, or send us an email to ryan@mentaldental.com. Do you guys have any closing remarks or comments you want to make before we wrap up tonight?
Yeah, I would just like to thank everyone for tuning in. Just know that no matter how tough your journey seems now, with the right perseverance and work, just some time and prayers, everything will work out. So keep pushing, and we wish you all the best. It was great to have everyone joining us today. Thank you.
Absolutely. It was great to be with you guys, and of course with everyone tuning in. And never feel discouraged or feel down that you failed a bench prep or you failed an interview and you didn't get accepted, there's always a second chance, a third chance. With, again, determination, you will succeed. And we hope to see everyone with the DDS letter behind their name in a very short period of time.
Excellent. That is all of our goals here, is to see you achieve that dream. And it's not too early to sign up. We got that question a lot. Please feel free to check out more information on my channel and on my website. I left a link in the comments there for you to check out and secure your spot for the Institute. The dates are November 1st and 2nd of this year, just shy of 2 months away. It's located in Charlotte, North Carolina, close to the airport. And you will receive not only instruction there at the course, but ongoing mentorship and support from all three of us. We would love to meet you in person and help you achieve your dreams. That's what, again, we're here for. But thanks so much for spending time with us tonight. It was great to interact with all of you here. And what we'll do now is sign you off with some fun from the Institute. I think it should be not too loud. I put the volume down. It was very loud when we tested it before we went live, but it should be a good volume. Adjust your volume in case if you got earphones on. But until next time, God bless you all. Thanks for being a part of this, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.